Hey book buddies, it's Katie here, and I've said it once before and I'll say it again. If it doesn't spark joy, throw it in the garbage. Except I'm not actually gonna be throwing these in the garbage, I'm gonna donate them. The world is kicking my ass right now. I'm really struggling in general, and all of my loved ones who have given me advice for when I'm feeling sad and stressed and just like garbage, they have all said that the best cure for that type of thing is just to do something. Just keep yourself busy, distract yourself, and focus on the things that you can control. So, at the end of this month, I'm going to be moving into a new apartment. And one thing that I really need to get done that I think could keep me busy is going through all my shit. So I started doing that, and today I have just a couple books that I think I'm gonna donate. It really doesn't seem like I'm getting rid of that many, but keep in mind that I've been like moving out of apartments into my parents' house, preparing to move into apartments that I didn't move into for like several different times. So I've gone through my books more than once. I just keep whittling them down, just piece by piece. Anyway, here we go, book unhaul. Future editing Katie, could you please try to find that really happy royalty-free music that people use in a lot of YouTube videos that's like do 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 do, but just distort it. Make it sound just absolutely horrendous, please. First, I'm getting rid of Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I've never read a John Green book. I've still never read a John Green book. I've heard that this one was really good, but the reason I'm getting rid of it is because I gather that the main character has OCD, and OCD is also something that I have, and I don't really like to think about it, and I sort of feel like reading about a main character who has it, instead of being validating for me, might just be like really anxiety inducing. So I'm gonna give this to somebody else who will love it. No offense to John Green or anything, he's very loved by all. But I think it would be kind of an interesting flex if I went my whole life without ever reading any of his books. Maybe flex is the wrong word, that sounds kind of mean. Just like, you know, when you have to introduce a fun fact about yourself to the class, I could say, well, I've never read a John Green book, and people will be like, don't you have a booktube channel? And I'll just look at them like this. The second book I'm unhauling is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. I have read this book and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I think that the year that I read it, it made my list of best books that I'd read that year. I thought it was adorable, very, very cute. But I'm unhauling it because I really don't think I will be rereading it. I just don't see that as being likely. And if I do decide to reread it, I'm sure I can find it at the library with minimal effort. Get off my shelf, Geekerella. Next, I'm getting rid of Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. This is another one that I didn't read. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, except Belle, the Belle character, her name is Nyx. She's an assassin. It honestly looks pretty cool, but it's been sitting on my shelf for a very, very, very long time, and I don't know that I'll ever read it. Which is odd because I used to be all into the Beauty and the Beast retellings, and I tend to go through phases. I'm a very cyclical person, so I can see myself right after getting rid of this book falling into another Beauty and the Beast retelling phase, and if that happens, I guess that sucks for me. Next is Birdwing by Rafe Martin. This is another book that looks pretty good, but I haven't read it. I got this at a library book trade thing with my friend when I was in like 7th grade. Shout out to Reagan. Hi, I miss you. And I started it and it was just kind of slow, and I don't think I'm gonna read it. I've been holding on to it since like 7th grade thinking I'm going to read this book, and I haven't yet, and I don't think I will, and it's unfair to this book. I'm sure it's lovely and somebody would like to read it. The next book I'm getting rid of is The Giver by Lewis Lowry. Lewis. This is a good book too. I mean, required reading when you're in school for most kids in the US. I liked it. I thought it was fine, but I don't think I'm gonna reread it. I mean, I remember that I thought it was fine. When did we have to read this? Was this in 5th grade or 6th grade? Anyway. Next is Sister Light, Sister Dark by Jane Yolen. I also didn't read this book, but I was specifically looking for something by Jane Yolen because I remember I read a bunch of her books when I was younger and like the beginning of high school, the end of middle school, and I thought she was a really good writer. So I went to the used bookstore and this was the only book that I could find by her, and so I picked it up, and honestly it doesn't really look that interesting. It probably is. It's probably very good. It just seems very high concept, high fantasy. Maybe it's fantastic and I'm missing out, but I don't think I'm gonna read it. Next is Paladin of Souls by Lois McMaster Bujold. I read this book and I reviewed it in my car one time when I was doing a wrap-up. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was good. It's another high fantasy. It had an interesting concept. There was nothing wrong with it. The only problem that I had with it, which I mentioned in my wrap-up when I was in my car, is that there was like a casual assault of a man that was like a paragraph long and never addressed, and I can only assume that's because it happened to a man, which kind of pissed me off. It just didn't need to be there. It wasn't gratuitous or graphic, but like, it was just like, why is this here? Aside from that, I enjoyed this book a lot, but again, it's one that I'm probably not gonna reread. And finally, I'm getting rid of Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Ticholk. Sorry to this author that I can't say your last name. I read this book a long time ago and I kept it because I love the cover. I just think the cover's really nice, and I remember that I liked part of the aesthetic of the book, just the way that it was kind of gothy. I had it next to my like dark academia books, of which I have like 2. I don't know if it really fits that, but it kind of felt in a similar vein. And at one point I wanted to write a book in this kind of genre, so I kept this book as a reference for style. But thinking back on it, I don't think I really liked the style of this book, the way that she wrote. I found it to be kind of repetitive and like pretentious, so I'm getting rid of it. But it is a really pretty cover. There's like strawberries on it. I love strawberries. I want to end the video on a good note, something that does spark joy, and that's this cat plushie that I found at Hobby Lobby when I was with my mom. Her name's Bernice, and I got her because she looks like the way my soul feels. I saw her and I almost started crying in the store because I don't want to hurt her feelings, but like, why does she look so fucked up? Like, what's her hair? Oh, I love you, Bernice. She's great. Bernice is gonna be fine, and I'm gonna be fine, and everything's gonna be fine. I will see you all again very soon with a new video. I'm currently scripting a review of Old, that M. Night Shyamalan movie, because I went and saw it with my friend Jacob, and it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and I have to talk about it. So that'll come out later, and I'm also going to do a video on Elizabeth Siddall. I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. She was an artist who I think is pretty cool. And also probably soon I'll be doing another cozy mystery wrap-up, because cozy mysteries are still the only thing that I'm able to read without feeling like really sad. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all again very soon with a new video. But until then, happy reading!